Karl Barth, probably the greatest theologian of the 20th century, used to regularly tell his students, there is now a man, that was the time before inclusive language, there is now a human person in heaven. And what does that mean? It means that everything that goes on, the ordinary traffic of human history in the world as we know it, must in some way bear his imprint and express the fact that he is Lord and is in command. And that's the great eschatological truth that stretches from there to then. That actually there is someone who knows the destiny of the human race. And there is someone whose imprint, whose way of life, whose pierced hands and feet still strike out in a direction that people can follow and believe in. You know, for those of us committed to expressing the Christian faith in the digital environment, you know, we will have to do what Peter did in his Pentecost sermon. We will have to find new and creative ways of saying that King Jesus is still Lord and Savior of humankind. And at the same time, we'll have to find new and creative ways of pricking the balloon of a culture of self-aggrandizement that proclaims its own gospel, secular gospel of prosperity, lots and loads of money and success. You see, that's the hubris of the culture we belong to. The hubris of secular humanity. It is that we can go it alone, that we can be the answer to your troubles and your problems. In his book, and I finish with this, Thomas Friedman in his book Longitudes and Attitudes says that the new super story of the 21st century is the story of globalization. It has replaced the outmoded ideology of the Cold War, and now globalization is the big super success story. And of course that is aided and abetted by the whole digital revolution and the revolution in information technology. But you know, part of my consultancy work has taken me to the global south. And because of that reality, I'm always reminded of a story from Winnie the Pooh. Let me read it to you. Now one day Pooh and Piglet and Rabbit and Roo were all playing Pooh sticks together. They had dropped their sticks in the river when Rabbit shouted, "Go!" And then they had hurried across to the other side of the bridge. And now they were all leaning over the edge, waiting to see whose stick would come out first. But it was a very long time coming, because the river was lazy that day and hardly seemed to mind if it didn't ever get there at all. When I stand with people in Peru or Argentina whose land has just been taken from them by the state-backed American-led corporations, or when I cry with the people in sub-Saharan Africa racked by the HIV/AIDS pandemic, what I think is the river of globalization and all the supposed benefits of digital communication seems a very long time coming. And many of the economic gatekeepers, and this is what I want us to think about too, the economics of the digital revolution, the digital environment, because many of those gatekeepers are very lazy about making sure the benefits reach what we call the global south and some of the most dispersed and marginalized people in the world. You know, Pentecost was a highly disruptive, and it was a very declarative event about a new reign, about a new King Jesus, about a new community. If you read on, one of the first things they did was exercise their own form of wealth distribution. We need to think about these things. We need to ask these questions, because it's not amongst the urban moneyed elites that Jesus comes to us again. It's amongst the marginalized and the dispersed and the poor. And there They need to see the benefits of what we will be talking about together.